Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game rules by Chaosium. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. While we try very hard to stick to language for all ages, listeners should know that this podcast may include mature themes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., that may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I'm your keeper, Keeper Michael, and we return to Horror on the Orient Express, although we're going to shift our gaze back to London to look in on investigator Aidan Moore and the marvelous Madame Davina. And so we'll start off the top here with introductions, and then we'll get right to it. So to my right.
Hello, I'm Mike, and I'm playing Aidan Moore, who has had an interesting experience at a dinner party.
Indeed. And with you, as always.
Hi, I'm Miranda, and I'm playing Madame Davina, who coincidentally was also at that dinner party.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. So we've had a little time in between the dinner party and this episode. We've managed to collect some information, and we're going to be perhaps setting on a path to track down this Alexander Fitzgeorge person. So, Aidan, you've had the opportunity to speak with, we'll say, a business associate. And the business associate has put it on to you that there is an agency currently looking into the Fitzgeorge case officially for the Earl. But they are asking you to potentially act as a information liaison and an additional investigator in a separate role, in the hopes that you'd be able to perhaps get to information that others might not be able to. Unofficially, of course.
Right, okay, yeah. I mean, certainly Aidan will be very interested in that and would like to know some of the particulars.
Well, what they're going to give you in that regard is some information that they have dug up. And so they are giving you, most importantly, an address. It's a Paris address. It seems anyway that the address that they're giving you is in Paris's 16th district, which for some who might be unaware, it has a fair amount of large and rather, we'll say, opulent mansions. And from the information that this Earl's agency has tracked down, they believe this is where Fitzgeorge either lives or once lived. But they're a little busy working on some of the legal angles here, and so they're going to ask if you would be willing to travel to Paris to investigate the house personally. And in all hopes, dig up whatever might be available at this, what is rumored to be an opulent Parisian home.
Yeah, I mean, he's keen to get on and do well, and something like this, even though it's unofficial, would probably stand him in good stead of potentially a salary increase or a promotion within the bureau. So yeah, he would obviously, he would want to know details about how long he was expected to be there and that kind of thing, and he's got his family to deal with, but
certainly
to let know what's happening. But yeah, I mean, he's a very keen and enthusiastic member of the agency, so
they're happy to give you that part of the case. The information also comes with the understanding that the 16th district of Paris is actually fairly close to the Arc de Triomphe on its what they consider its southeastern side. It's what leads into that district, leads into the foundation and some of the larger parks that Paris offers.
So it's where all the posh knobs hang out.
Indeed, absolutely.
I'll be on my best behaviour, sir.
No funny business.
Perish the thought.
You do know, though, from having the Beatons as an example of a rather fancy party, if you're going to go to a Parisian party, which is fancy, you're going to need an angle.
Indeed, yes. Just turning up out of the blue is kind of going to maybe look a bit suspicious. Presumably, I'd need to have some sort of invitation arranged for me, or are they putting that entirely in my hands to find a way of getting in?
Well, they're not certain that there's necessarily going to be a party per se, but they do know that just from some of the local people that they've been able to talk to there, they know that the house has seen an increased amount of activity in the past couple of months.
So I suppose the first thing comes to Aidan's head is the fact that the last time he had any dealings with this fellow Fitzgeorge was back at the Beaton's house, where there was a reading done for the family and for any of the guests there as well, from his associate, for want of a better word, Madame Davina, and he's wondering if that perhaps that might be an opportunity to gain entry into a prestigious household in the center of Paris, if they have an interest in that kind of fortune telling and that kind of thing. Maybe he could be an escort for her, or some sort of bodyguard, perhaps. maybe bodyguard's a bit strong, but maybe he could be working as a liaison manager or something like that. That might be a way of getting into a party to which he might not otherwise be invited without some sort of made up identity as a member of the Irish landed gentry or something, which he doesn't think he's going to get away with.
No? Wow. Perish the thought. Okay. Yeah, it's a reasonable idea that you would need to prep some sort of a little bit extra to get into a place like this. Although the first things first is getting to Paris.
Well, I'm assuming that the tickets would be arranged for myself to get across there.
Absolutely, and no sooner do you think about how you're getting across that a few tickets are put into your hand.
3rd class on the train down to Dover and across on the ferry to Calais. Oh well, fair enough, I suppose.
Have a good time. They wave you out.
Hey, thank you very much, sir. I suppose then the next step would be to go and seek out Madame Davina and see if this is something that she would be interested in or up for a bit of an adventure across the water in La Belle France. Does Aidan know how he would find her? Does she have an establishment, a fortune-telling boutique or something of that ilk?
That's a great question, madam.
Yes, I believe I was set up in the back of a bookshop.
Yes. So there's a bookshop that you would know here in London. Probably keeps a fair amount of different clientele that come and go. You have a spot. It's likely that the two of you, given your previous escapades, would have kept somewhat in contact over the next couple of days. Especially given the fact that you'd both been asked by the Beatons to get this to ground, to figure out what this man was all about.
The necklace that Esther Beaton had at this party that seemed to be affecting her in a very strange manner. We managed to take it off her. What happened to that necklace? It slipped my mind.
It was wrapped up in a handkerchief by you at the end of that session, and then was handed to Madame Davina to have her attempt to douse its true purpose. And I think it might be reasonable to say that she likely has not removed it from the handkerchief at this point. It's probably been maybe on a on a wall somewhere, or maybe tucked into another bag and then put into yet another bag?
In a bag, in a box, in a bigger box, in a trunk, in the attic of a derelict house in a town 100 miles away.
Yeah, something like that. Well, I'm happy to take any correction if you'd like, Madam Davina, to the official record of. Okay, so what did you do with the necklace?
No, I would have kept it but not touched it and hid it away because it is dangerous. And there are people coming into this antiquarian bookstore all the time looking for strange items. I wouldn't want them to accidentally stumble upon this.
Yeah, that's probably true. So yes, you'd know that she has the necklace, and you'd also know where to find her, Aidan.
I head over to the antiquarian bookstore where I know that Madame Davina operates out of a small back room with a net curtain. No, not a net curtain, a bead curtain. Sorry,
Yes, it has to be beaded.
A beaded curtain and a lamp with a kind of a silk scarf over it, and all the paraphernalia. And so he'll go in and find the bookshop owner or attendant or something like that, and ask if Madame Davina is here.
No, certainly, sir. He points and gestures to the towards this array of colorful beaded curtains, and you hear a large and loud rap on the desk. Davina, you've got a visitor.
Yes, please send him in.
So yeah, he'll sort of poke his head with his big unruly mop of ginger hair through the beaded curtain. Say, Madame Davina, hello.
Oh, it is you, Mr. Moore.
Aidan, call me Aidan, for goodness sake.
To what do I owe the pleasure of your visit here?
Well, have you got a few minutes? I've got a wee proposition for you. If you'd be interested, that is.
Yes, I believe I have time between previous client and the next client.
Oh, splendid. Where's the best place to talk? Just in here?
Yes, this will be fine, unless it is a private matter. Just maybe we talk quietly.
Oh, right enough. So, here's the thing, right? I've been asked to have a wee nosy into this. Do you remember this fella that we saw at the Deepens, this Fitzgeorge fella?
Do I remember? How could I forget?
Aye, well, see, thing is, right, he apparently has this big fancy place in Paris, of all places. And my boss has asked me if I'd go and have a wee look into him, just on the QT, discreet like. So I was just wondering if you fancied a wee trip across the channel over to France.
Well, actually, yes. I was just thinking this would probably be perfect time for me to get out of town. Business has slowed. Police have been patrolling nearby. I think that we maybe stirred up too much dust.
Oh, you think that this fella's got his eye on you or something?
No. I mean that people at party. What is that saying? Loose lips sink ships, and they talk and they gossip, and that gets back to certain agencies and the police workers.
Walls have ears and that kind of thing, eh? They also have ice cream.
That's probably how you found me last time when you get me out of town.
Well, I've got a few discreet inquiries I can make if I'm looking for certain people. Yeah, no one escapes the long arm of the law, madame. As well, So anyhow, I take it you've got people that are coming to see you. You got a few appointments and that. When would be convenient for you to head over there then?
Oh, anytime. Did you already procure passage? We could leave now if you would like. My belongings are already packed.
Well, I wasn't thinking of right away. I was thinking maybe tomorrow morning or something. Would that be all right for you? That wouldn't be too soon. I'm sure you've got affairs to put in order and all that kind of thing.
I don't have many affairs, no, but that will be fine.
Oh, grand. Well, I tell you what then. I'll see about getting you a ticket for the train and the ferry. I need to go home and speak to the wife and the wee ones and that sort of thing, and let them know what's happening. But I'll look into what time the ferry leaves or the train leaves tomorrow morning, and I'll get back to you. Have you got a telephone here in the shop here?
Yes, I do believe the shop owner has telephone.
Oh, grand. Well, I'll give you a wee call later on then when I've got myself sorted out and I know the times of it, and I'll meet you at the station, I suppose, eh?
Yes, that will be agreeable.
Grand, and I'll tell you all about it on the train on the way over. The kind of the thought I had about the whole situation. Like,
I don't doubt that you will.
Right. Well, I'll make myself scarce then, so you can see your next customer, and I'll speak to you later.
Yes, tomorrow.
If only there was another customer. Anyway, so yeah, you both finish your day in very natural accords. You do have a couple of other customers, Madame Davina. None of them are as exciting as the thought of leaving London. That is the most exciting thing, because you are not wrong that in the past couple of days, the social papers have picked up. Some of the people in your own scene have begun whispering and talking about some craziness that happened at the Beatons. And while it never makes the official papers of London, there are some episodes of loose talk over the couple of days that happen that transpire after the event of the Beatons that make you a little concerned, especially given the potential reputation damage it could have on you. And then for Aidan, you'd have a chance to head back to your house for the night, place you're staying, speak with your family, and give an opportunity to let them know what's going to happen.
So what I'd want to do is go over, just go back to the office briefly, and just check on the expenses situation with regard to purchasing additional tickets for a companion, in order that that will give me a kind of a bit of a cover for getting into this place, and just make sure that I can afford to go over there and those sorts of things. Just deal with all that sort of paperwork side of it.
Yeah, you shouldn't have any issue doing it.
And then I'll go and find out what time the trains are that go down from London down to Dover, and what time the ferries are, and just kind of make a wee note of exactly what the best schedule tomorrow would be for us.
There is definitely a morning train that's available for you. It's not the super special afternoon Orient Express train, of course, but there is a train that does go to Dover. There are several of them, at least throughout the day. I would imagine that they'd have it, at the very least, they would have a morning train and an afternoon train.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there'd probably be a train that goes to coincide with the ferry, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So that and then there'd be another train you pick up on the other side, maybe just an hour or two waiting time either side.
Certainly.
So once I've done that, I'll call back to the bookshop, and I'll let Madame Davina know what time the train is leaving in the morning, and then I'll head home, speak to my wife, tell her that I'll be away for a few days with business across, going over to Paris, and then say goodnight to the children, read them a story, let them know that I'll bring them something back from my travels abroad, bring them back a souvenir.
You have an opportunity then to wrap up your day. The children are finally tucked in, and it'll be nice to get away, to get to Paris for a day or so, and then probably come back. That's what you're figuring.
Absolutely, yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
So the next morning, the two of you meet up at the bookstore, and probably head to the train station, at least in some shape or form, together. While the train isn't by any means luxurious where you're sitting, it is a spot on the train, and the train does move, and you don't have to push, which is nice.
I'll get a morning paper and just kind of read. Probably get a couple of papers, because I like to read the silly papers. I like to read the cartoon.
Well, there's politics in one of the papers, and that's definitely silly in some regard. But Yeah, you would get a bit of an update on some of the things happening. Why don't you give me a library use roll, Aidan?
Oh my goodness.
You're reading. We'll see if you come across the story or not.
So I have a 50 in library use, which is not
Pretty good.
too bad. And I have rolled a 52. I think I'll spend 2 points of luck.
Sure, why not?
Why not? What else am I going to do with it?
Right. You're reading through the morning paper on the way down to Dover, and you come across a story, must be on page 4, of a report from some business on the ferry over to Calais, that there was some wild windstorm, and that it disrupted travel for a bit. There's a report here that says that lightning struck the ferry.
Oh, I've never heard tell of that before.
But no one was hurt. But it's on page 4, so it can't be terribly important.
Hope that doesn't happen when we're going across. Here, did you see this, Madam Davina?
Yes, that is quite strange, I guess.
Aye, it is right enough, aye.
Well, isn't there saying about lightning never will strike twice in the same spot? So,
Aye, that's what they say. That's
we
what they
should
say.
be fine then.
Well, I mean, who knows? Who knows where the ferry was when it was going across the channel? It could have been anywhere. Does that count then? That lightning never strikes twice. Does that count if you're moving? You're on a moving vehicle. Does that mean it never strikes the vehicle twice, or it never strikes the place where the vehicle's going at the time twice? How does that work?
Well, I would suppose that wherever it hit, so if it hit vehicle, it won't hit vehicle again. Really, I think the saying is about luck, or more so unluck.
Unluck. Oh, that's a good word. I'll have to remember that. Unluck. You're lucky or you're unlucky. You've got some luck. You've got some unluck.
I don't believe ferry is unlucky enough to get hit twice.
Is that a Russian word? That is it Russian you are again?
No, Czechoslovakian.
Czechoslovakia. Aye, right. Where's that now?
That would be in Europe, Eastern.
Right. Aye. East. Aye, right. Over that ways. Right, but sort of beside Russia, aye.
Yes, but I get around. I'm from here and there and everywhere. There's no place I really call home.
Citizen of the world, is that it?
Yes, exactly.
Well, I'm an Irishman through and through. That's me. Born, bred, and buttered.
You arrive at Dover and are quickly put onto a ferry thereafter and begin to make their voyage into the channel. You can tell when you get on the ferry that this ferry has seen some repair recently. It's not too terribly difficult to see that some of the windows, which were on the side here, have been either replaced. Some of them have been boarded a bit. Staff don't make any direct mention of it, but visually you see it. You see too that the doors that lead from this larger portion, this larger sitting area that go towards more of the fancier area up front, they've been boarded as well. So this ferry's seen better days, that's for sure.
I'll see if I can catch the eye of one of the staff. Have my newspaper in hand. So, excuse me. Excuse me. I see you've had a wee bit of work done. This wouldn't be the ferry that I was reading in the paper here. One of your ferries got hit by lightning. It wouldn't be this one, would it?
Oh no, it's not this one. They had some brat turn up the other day, and he went around with a bunch of marbles.
Oh, some children. I blame the parents.
Well, this one, the staff member stops for just half a second and says, "This one had some fancy title, so I couldn't talk to him."
It wasn't little Lord Fuckleroy by any chance, was it?
I must confess, I don't know the brat's name, but he must have smashed 3 or 4 windows before his I don't know what you call her. His handler, his maidservant.
His nanny.
Yes, that nanny got hold of him and then didn't even give him a talking to, just walked him away.
Some of these highfalutin folks, they just think they own all the land they stand on, think they can do what they like.
We've had some windows out because of it, so I apologize.
Don't you worry about that. We're fine.
The staff member moves on. The travel across the channel is pretty quiet, actually. The ferry does make a good time. If there's no incidents, you have the ability to get food and drink should you so choose.
We'll have a pint of beer and a pie, a pork pie or something.
Yes. Madam Davina, are you eating or drinking at all?
Madam Davina would certainly have a drink.
You get the feeling, Madam Davina, there's some opportunity here for you to ply your trade as well. There's lots of just people walking around with nothing to entertain themselves. There's a couple of them. There's a fella juggling over there, and he seems a little interesting, but he's not really drawn anyone's attention in.
Okay, so knowing that there's a juggler here, it would seem it's reasonable for people to perform on this ferry.
Well, I think that people are entertainers, performers are just kind of taking what staff might give them.
Gotcha.
Maybe not a lot of asking, maybe more of a seeking, not seeking permission and just being willing to apologize if it offends anyone.
Madam Davina might pick a table if she can find a small one that's kind of like visible but off to the side, so that people that want quiet or conversation can have that, but also visibility, and will pull a decorative silk scarf out of her bag and lay that over the table. Maybe get out a bowl with some stones in it. Really a lot of decorative mumbo jumbo to bring some folks in, and bring out a set of tarot cards to just start shuffling and pulling out and looking at as if she is doing anything with them.
I think it'd be fair, to ask you to make a perform roll of sort.
Okay. Just
to see if you pull anybody in with the all of the additional accoutrement you are beginning to pile out there.
Mm-hmm. What would you consider to be performance?
Well, I suppose what skills does she have in? I know she has her own divination skill.
Yes.
I would say fast talk is probably a reasonable skill.
So I rolled a 64 over 45.
Okay. So yeah. I mean, unless you want to push or spend luck, you don't see anybody immediately come over. Mm-hmm. But you're welcome to push the roll if you want to really get involved.
I do want to push the roll, but I want to push the roll by just kind of gesturing to Aidan and saying, "You, sir, would you like to sit and have your fortune told?" And I'll be doing it like very loudly. What sort of questions do you have for my cards, Mister?
I don't know. I suppose.
Be anything would you like to know about your future, your love life, your family?
I would
wealth.
like. Yes, I would like. I'd like to know if I'm ever going to be a millionaire.
All right.
How about that?
Here's what I would like to do. I wouldn't normally do this, but it's a lot of fun, so we'll just do it this way. I would like Aidan to make a persuade roll.
Okay.
To see how persuasive he is being in this regard.
He's really he's like, this seems like a bit of fun, but I'm a bit worried we might be drawing attention to ourselves, which is not the intention here. No, not for him, it's not. A persuade roll. Okay, so, alrighty. Aidan's got a fairly decent persuade. Yeah. Part of the job. That is one off a hard success.
Very good.
31 under 60.
I am going to, with your successful roll, award Madame Davina advantage on her push.
Ooh.
And then allow her to roll with advantage.
Okay. So my first one was a 22. So that's already pretty good. 22 under 45 is a hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then a 12 under 22. Or 12 under 45, sorry.
Yeah, take the 12. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay. You think, Aidan, to play along enough. Once he says the word millionaire, a couple people look over. And then some, other people One younger guy stands up and kind of walks over. He pushes open his suit jacket a little bit. Says, "Well, go on. Is he going to be a millionaire or not?"
Well, I do see vast wealth in his future. Now, I cannot say $1 million for certain. But let me see your hand here. This will tell me more. This will tell me more. I can tell more about the person directly from their hands. Yes, you see here this line. This line is your wealth line, and you see here that it is very, very long. Very, I can tell.
So it is.
Yeah. So what is it that you do, sir?
Me. No, nothing. Nothing much. I used to be a policeman.
Oh, former policeman, private detective now?
That's right. Shut up.
You could have said anything.
I couldn't think of anything to say. You put me on the spot.
Well, what I see here, yes, that perhaps there is a large bounty in your future. You will be hired by a very wealthy person.
Smashing.
It'll pay you very, and then so you see this split here. That is where you start taking on more opportunities.
Oh, what's that now? What can you see? He's kind of getting drawn into this now. What kind of opportunities? Is it to do with the farm?
Yes, it is to do with the farm. Yes, I can see you branching out into many different business opportunities. You see, that is what these splits in this line are here.
All right. What does that one mean? It's pointing to another one. What's that line there now?
Yes, this is your love line. I can tell from it you are a family man.
Oh, I am. Does it tell you anything about that? Am I going to have more children?
Well, yes, it tells me right here. More children is what you desire, and you will be wealthy not only in money but also in family and love and happiness.
Fantastic. So how many children am I having then?
And Madame Davina's just thinking, God, I don't know how to get Aidan to shut up now. I need to get him to leave the table. This is a horrible mistake.
And you see the gentleman kind of turn and go, "Well, how many?"
Well, I can see here, is it 2 or 3 that you have now?
Can you not see? Can you not tell on my palm?
Well, it is difficult to tell. Sometimes the lines, they are blurred, but I see upwards of 5 children.
5?
Oh yes,
you will. I can't afford 5 children.
You will certainly. Well, you will be able to soon, sir. And I can just tell the little pitter patter of feet all around your house.
Am I getting a new house? Where is it? Where's the house now? Where does it say that? Which line? Have I got a house line?
Is there anyone else that would like to have their palms read here today?
Yeah, Aidan, you look around. There's probably 3 or 4 people now that are standing around.
She's really good. You should try it. She says this line here, right? This tells me I'm going to get a big house.
The two of you enjoy the rest of the ferry ride. Probably Madame Davina more than most, because the business that comes in is fairly good.
Yeah.
Although you'll have to work on perhaps your partner's delivery method and transfer of, the ruse, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
So how much of that am I getting for being your lovely assistant?
I'll slip him a small tip.
Hey, I paid for the beer.
Yeah.
Yes.
The next round is on me, Aidan.
Oh, smashing! Cheers. I'll have a pint of Guinness, please.
So you arrive in Calais and board a train, which not long thereafter. Oh, I should ask, given that you'll arrive in France, are either one of you carrying anything which would be considered contraband?
I'll probably be carrying a firearm, but it's a licensed firearm,
Mm-hmm.
and I won't be carrying it on my person.
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, yeah, no, I'm not bringing any live animals with me or anything.
Certainly.
An exotic fruit.
Exotic fruit, yeah.
Yeah, I would say as far as the pistol goes, as long as you declare it and the authorities can look at it and look at your
I've
license.
got my license and everything, and my private investigator license and that kind of thing.
They're happy to let it in. They just ask you to be careful with it. Madam Davina, are you carrying any exotic pets, perhaps?
I am not. No. Exotic items, yes, but not pets.
Certainly. So, yeah.
You are an exotic item.
The two of you are open to board a train headed for Paris, which is about an hour or so, I think, from Calais, depending upon time, day. Let me see. I can double check the schedule.
Here,
just to get it.
Davina, do you speak French at all?
No, I do not.
You're European, aren't you?
Well, yes, but this is an entirely different language. No, I speak a little bit of Italian, but that is it.
It's actually about 45 minutes, but either way.
Also, obviously, I speak Czechoslovakian.
Well, would they speak that here? I mean, I don't. I mean, I picked up a parlez-vous or two here and there when I was here during the war, but I couldn't make myself understood in French if I had to have a conversation with somebody.
Well, we'll just hope that many of them speak English.
I dare say, aye.
So 45 minutes later or so, the two of you are deposited at the station in Paris, and that is Nord Station. First one you come across. So I suppose once you hit the ground in Paris, it's likely, we'll say, midday, given all the travel times. What are the two of you planning on doing then?
I think probably the first thing to do is ask maybe at the station where we can find some reasonably priced accommodation.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, they direct you to a couple of hotels that are off in a separate section of Paris. There are a couple ones around the train station, honestly, that are likely just not... A couple around the train station that are likely not as large and ostentatious as some of the big name hotels. But he's
room with a bed.
Yeah, basically. Yep. I'm imagining that Paris has a lot of smaller, just, I wouldn't say flop houses, but in a sense, yeah, a bed, a door, 4 walls, and good luck to you. I mean,
some free cockroaches.
Certainly a couple of mice to keep you company at night.
French mice.
And the two of you find lodgings. They are relatively inexpensive and on budget for you. But I think budget is the word I would stress there.
Let's go to a wee cafe or something and we'll get ourselves squared away in our hotel, and I'll fill you in on exactly what's going on. You know about this Fitzgeorge fellow who's been in the papers and all that? Do you know all about that, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. He's got this big fancy house, apartment, or whatever it is, up just kind of in the central area near the Arc de Triomphe. So I've been asked to do a bit of looking into him, see if we can find out a wee bit more about him. Maybe try and find out if he is who he says he is, or if it's all just some big charade, you know. Now, you and I both know that there's something up with this fella, based on what happened at the house there in London at the Deepens. I was thinking we could maybe just sort of see if we could get an idea about exactly who comes and goes to this place, because I hear he gets quite a lot of visitors. Maybe we could try and affect some kind of way to get into their society, to get into the company that he keeps, perhaps under the guise of you doing your magic, you know, doing all the business like you're doing on the ferry there. And I'd be like maybe your assistant or your manager or something like that, and you know, I'd be there to kind of escort you about the place, keep you safe and sound, and you know, that sort of thing. And that way, maybe you could you could distract them by doing your readings and that, while I have a wee nosy about. Maybe see if I can see what's in the back rooms and that. Maybe get some information on the boy that he maybe doesn't want people to know about. How does that sound to you? Does that sound like something you could help me with?
Yes, but you don't think that he will recognize us?
Oh, well, he's, as far as I know, he's still in London at the moment. So what I'm thinking is that there'll be staff there. There maybe be, well, I don't know, he might have relatives there or something like that. But the idea would be that nobody there would know us. Nobody there would recognise us. Of course, if he is there, then the game's a bogey, as I say, and would have to rethink a wee bit. But we could maybe still get some information out of the servants, or maybe speak to some of the company that he keeps there.
So it sounds to me like this is going to take some of that detective work that you are so well known for.
I wouldn't like to say that, but that's what they pay me for.
Yes, perhaps you couldn't stand outside the house and watch like you did at the party.
Well, I mean, I was thinking about doing that, but getting into the house, that's another thing. We need some sort of inn, some sort of way to give us a reason to be inside the place.
Oh, reason. When you said you needed an inn, I was going to suggest there's many first floor windows.
That's another option. I could do that, I suppose. I could maybe sneak it around the back if you were there distracting people around the front. I could try that.
Well, that may be the more expedient method, but it may take some time for us to work our way into the house on the up and up. I'm not sure how you feel about breaking and entering, Aidan.
Well, there have been occasions when I have needed to effect a discreet entry into a private residence in order to obtain information about said individual. I don't like to think of myself as breaking and entering so much, because I don't want to break anything.
So that politely opening and entering, then.
Well, I can wiggle the catch of a rear window or something like that. Maybe it's a wee bit loose. Maybe the window just kind of opens itself by itself in a stiff breeze. Who knows? Are you suggesting that you'd be up for joining me on something like that? I wouldn't have thought that'd be up your street at all.
I've probably had more brush-ins with the law than you have at this point, but and I like to avoid those. I was just thinking of something that maybe work a little bit quicker, but I am also fine with doing a some sort of surveillance, and then inputting ourselves into their society in some way. Maybe the next time they are having a party, but that could be any time. Maybe we go through their mail a little bit.
That's a very good idea. Well, I tell you what then, let's do that. Let's spend a wee bit of time doing a wee reconnoiter on the place, and we can see who's coming and going. We could maybe, as you say, maybe see if we can intercede with the postman on his way to the house, and see what he's carrying. I'm sure a few francs would be a wee bit of incentive for him to look the other way if you're having a wee nosy inside some of the correspondence going into the house. Could maybe also have a wee talk with the servants, if he's got servants in the place, and see what they have to say about it.
Well, with a place this size, he certainly has servants.
Or we could maybe get ourselves jobs in the place and use that. And I'm sure they're always looking for footmen and chambermaids and whatnot.
Yes.
You have we'll say the afternoon and evening. Would you want to say walk by at least the residence that day?
Yeah.
Okay. So this home is in a very, very, what Aidan might call, posh area of town. It's a fantastic, what appears anyway like a 3 or 4 story home that is in along a section of homes here in this district. It's close to the water. So it's not far from the Seine at all. It's also not terribly far from one of Paris's largest parks, where its royal pavilions are, and some of the more the larger, greener spaces that Paris keeps. But this house is right up with many of the other more magnificent Parisian homes that you've seen, at least in the postcards anyway. Now you're seeing them live in the flesh, and they do not disappoint.
So it's an actual house rather than just an apartment that he's got.
Yep. There's an actual house here, and so that would tell you likely a couple of things. One, that there's an awful lot of money there, because homes in this section would be, astronomical cost and value given the real estate. So whoever had this home first, or had it long ago and he eventually bought it from, they had money, and clearly he has money as well.
I wonder if as we stroll past, actually, I'll offer my arm to Madame Davina, so we perhaps look like a couple taking the air with a pleasant February afternoon in Paris, just sort of nonchalantly strolling along. I wonder if we could find out perhaps how he came by this house, who he is, maybe where his money came from, because this is a big place. This must be worth a bob or two.
Yes, I just assume, like most rich people, it is family money, but we could, in fact, see if maybe he has into any activities that would acquire an absurd amount, an unreasonable amount of money for the amount of work he's doing.
That's a good question, actually, isn't it? If he's saying that he is the son of the Earl, then who's he been living with, growing up with? He's got a mother, obviously, but an unwed mother with a baby boy. Where would she come by the kind of money that you'd need to buy somewhere like this?
Well, it could be her family could be wealthy.
It could be, I suppose. It could be, but it does seem a wee bit odd. And he's not even. He's taken this name, Fitzgeorge. I don't even know if that's his real name. He's Italian. Why would an Italian have a name like Fitzgeorge? And George is the name of the man he says is his daddy.
Just for a point of reference, as far as the Fitzgeorge name goes, it is not uncommon for bastard children to bastardize that name and cut in.
He's saying he's not a bastard, though.
Right?
He's saying his mother was married to him, so
certainly
he should, in theory, be calling himself Fitzroy.
Right, but he's not.
But he's not, which is
curious.
Strange in itself. Yeah. Anyway, it just sounded a wee bit odd to me. Why has he not got his mother's name or his adoptive father's name? Or I don't know.
I agree. It is very strange.
And he's just popped up out of nowhere. Where's he been all these years? In this big house in Paris. You think? I don't know. Somewhere like this, it's a bit ostentatious, isn't it?
A bit, but like I said, usually these things are come by from family members.
I suppose maybe if we can find out who his mother is, find out if she does have money.
Is there anywhere we can poke around public records?
Well, I could give a wee call back to the office, actually. If we can find a telephone, I could see if I can find out if they know anything about his mother.
Why don't the two of you give me spot hidden rolls?
Okay.
You're walking by the house.
97 and over 25, so obviously the sun is in my eyes.
Clearly. You're being distracted by holding Aidan's hand.
However, Aidan is considerably more eagle-eyed. That is a 03 under 50.
No, actually, Madame Davina, you're a little distracted by the size of the house, and especially given the surrounding apartments. It seems rather strange for one person to have a home this big that doesn't seemingly have any children, isn't married. It's very strange. On the other hand, one of the other strangeness that Aidan picks up on specifically is this. He looks very closely over those windows, and he begins to notice that the interior portion of the window isn't curtains. It isn't a window treatment. Those windows, that styling is blocking the windows.
So I don't quite follow what you mean.
Well, the windows seem to be very, we'll say, craftily boarded up.
On the inside,
they're blocked.
So are they boarded up on the inside or on the outside?
Right. So what you're seeing, right?
Am I seeing the glass panes?
Yeah.
So are they shuttered inside then, or?
Yeah, they are given the appearance that they have nice fine curtains by visually looking at them from the outside.
Okay.
But what your eyes are catching is that they're shuttered from the inside.
All right. So is it like the curtains are just sort of painted onto wood or something like that?
Right.
And you're seeing something. All right. Okay.
So to everybody else passing by, it looks like, oh yes, it's just another grand house. Mm-hmm. But you have been able to perceive that that's just an art treatment that's been done to these, and the house is actually boarded up.
I'll mention that as we walk along. Says, here. See those windows up on the first floor there. You don't think there's something a wee bit odd about them? Just kind of motioning with my head rather than pointing or anything like that.
I'm happy to give you a reroll if you'd like, Madame Davina.
Sure.
Pointing it out.
Well, my first ones are 00, so we'll see what the second digit is. 3, so a 3.
Oh wow, that's what I got as well.
Yeah. Thankfully, it wasn't a 0.
I just rolled with the 1 die that I didn't drop.
So yeah, after he points it out, you absolutely see it. You see exactly what he's talking about, and yeah, somebody has done a very decorative visual, painting of these window curtains to make it appear as if they're luxury, when in fact they're simply there to block everything out, like it being shuttered.
That is very strange.
I'm going to look at the other windows as well and just see if they're all like that, or if I can tell if they're all like that.
Indeed they are. Everything except the first floor, which those windows are a little bit larger.
And are you meaning the ground, first floor, ground floor? Yeah,
ground floor, right. Ground floor. And those windows are as they would normally be. You can see the glass there.
I don't think anybody's getting in through those windows. They look like they're just made out to be. There's something. Is it all shut up inside or something? Or are they hiding something?
My initial thought was the second one, though he is not here. So
no, he's not.
Don't believe we have seen much goings on at the house. So perhaps they have shut it up.
But why would they shut it up and make it look as though it's not shut up? Unless they've got it boarded up to make it look like there's people there just to avoid getting robbed.
I mean, either could be possible. You don't see the grounds look relatively tended to, just as you're continuing to pass by. The hedges are in a reasonable shape, although they don't seem like they're finely manicured as some of the other locations. But what tips you off, I think, most is that where others around here might have refuse and stations for it, for regular garbage pickup, there's nothing on the side of the house that shows that.
We've seen no comings or goings as we've been kind of strolling along there.
No. And other houses are relatively active.
I don't think there's anybody home.
Well, then this may be the perfect time to enact Plan B.
Do you know something? I think you might very well be right there. Time to get the old leather gloves on, eh?
Yeah, I mean, the opportunity knocks, it seems.
Well, let's wait till maybe we've got a wee bit of cover from darkness. Don't want to be seen climbing in through somebody's window in the middle of the day.
Okay, you have your food. A few hours pass. Madam Davina, you could gather anything from your hotel room you so desired, leather gloves, etc. And then you slowly but surely make your way back to this 16th district. And at nightfall, the building is not much different than the rest of the ones around it, save for the fact that it has very few lights on.
But it does have some lights on.
It does. There seems to be an electric light that is on the first floor. It looks like it's either near perhaps a butler's area or the service entrance.
Okay.
Then there is what you think there is some sort of glow that comes from the third floor upstairs. It's a very similar electric light glow that you're familiar with. So perhaps there's someone up there as well.
All right. So is that like coming kind of through a crack in the boards or something like that? Yeah.
Just a slight crack.
It looks like it's not empty after all. And these lights weren't on during the day earlier on, no?
They were not.
Okay.
That is very strange, considering that it did not seem like anyone was living here.
Aye, I've got a feeling there's something shady going on here.
Perhaps I could knock on the door and offer my services on the door-to-door basis and just see if anyone answers.
Aye, why don't you do that? While you do that, I'll maybe sneak around the back and see if I can find a way in.
That's the plan? You go to the front door?
Yes.
2 wide, deep brown doors make up the front entrance here. It's a rather luxurious front door. And there's a big brass knocker there on the right side of it.
I knock.
You lift the knocker and then slam it into the wood, creating a wonderful resonant tone through the mahogany and oak that's there.
I'll wait for a while.
I'm going to get myself, while she's doing that, I'm going to get myself sort of round the side of the building. I think I will, though. I think I will try and discreetly observe the front, but I don't want to be seen.
So going around the side of the back side of the house, or to the servants' entrance, if that's where more you're aiming at, Aidan, you don't see or hear any direct movement back there.
There is possibly a window that a darkened window around the back that I could get into if I needed to.
If you need to, it's a little smaller than you were hoping it would be, but there's a availability there if you have to.
Is it good size for Madame Davina to get through to, I think?
I don't know Madame Davina's size in comparison to yours, but...
Well, I'm pretty huge. In mechanical terms,
yes.
I have a size of 85.
Yeah, you should be able to fit through this, and if Madame Davina isn't 85 or higher, then...
She's not.
You're fairly certain she could. So far, no answer at the front door, Madame Davina.
Okay, so in that case, I will walk away as if, no one's home. But I won't walk directly around the building. I'll kind of walk away and circle back.
Okay.
To try to join or follow wherever Aidan went.
It takes you a bit of a circuitous route to get back there, but you do eventually get to the back of the building where he's kind of lying in wait.
Is there like an alleyway that runs along the back of these buildings?
So basically the house that they have sits almost on a corner point of 2 larger apartment buildings. So there's not one alley, there's 2. And you definitely have the opportunity then to hang out in the alley. You probably have about 13 or so minutes until your friendly patrol arrives back.
So we could, in theory, if we can get in and there's nobody there, or if we can find somewhere that we can hide in there, we could actually stay for a double circuit if we needed to.
Certainly.
Okay, so I'll kind of keep an eye out. I'll hopefully have seen Madame Davina walking away from the house, and I'll keep an eye out for her coming around the other way.
Yeah, it doesn't take you too long until you start seeing her kind of make a path back towards where she will come around the backside of the house.
If it's quiet, I'll probably kind of move over to meet her halfway.
Okay. You meet up with her?
Nobody home?
No, no one was home.
Right. I found a wee window here that I think, I can probably just about squeeze through it, but it might be easier if I give you a wee boost up and see if you can get in through it.
Yes, of course.
Come on then. And I'll kind of head over towards this wee window.
Okay. Yeah, you pass over into the yard, as it were, the greenery that they have here, and then get yourself close to the window.
Right, here, you just put your foot in my hands there, and I give you a wee boost up.
Yeah, I'll do so. Foot on hand and hands on shoulder.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Oh.
Oh, there she goes. You get over into the yard, and then your aim is to enter the home.
That's the plan. What does the back garden look like? Does it look like it's well kept? Is it?
It's reasonably well kept. They have some nice flowers here. There's no common vegetables or anything like that here. It's all meant for visuals. There are some statues, small ones, no more than maybe a few feet tall. Yeah, why don't the both of you there in the moonlight here give me a spot hidden roll?
Absolutely. Yeah, Aidan's got no interest in flowers other than buying a bunch of them to give to his wife on her birthday. Oh, yep, that's a hard success. 25 under 50.
Right. And if you would,
At 67 over 25.
and you notice that this courtyard here, this green space here has 2 or 3 just kind of pleasant, almost not fairy statues, but folklore statues. You notice them right away, actually.
Could I make an occult roll, perhaps, to see if I recognize who or what they might be of, or what type of folklore they might be, if nothing else? 02.
Oh, well, certainly. These are gnomes.
Oh. Not like garden gnomes fishing and that.
No. These are gnomes. These look more like, well, I mean, given some of your knowledge of the occult and perhaps more, who would say, fae lore in that regard. These are not your average run-of-the-mill gnomes. These are these more like traditional folklore gnomes.
Kind of European.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, maybe even Eastern European.
Maybe. Their ears are far more pointed. Their bodies are a little bit squat, kind of almost rotund in that regard. They wear little hats, but not the chiseled to perfection gnomes that you've seen in some of the shops and whatnot. These are a little wild.
Yeah, they're not jolly little fellows with
no, it doesn't seem like
it. And fishing rods, yeah. So I'll kind of nudge Madame Davina. Say, hey, look at that now.
Yes.
That's a bit odd, eh? Hey, the gnomes.
Perhaps they are just interested in gnomes.
Hey, these aren't like garden gnomes. These are proper gnomes, you know, like from around sort of Germany, that kind of area, I think. Do I know with my 02 anything about the habits and characteristics of the type of gnome that's depicted in these little statuettes?
You probably would know that they're meant to protect places, especially special places in nature. You know that they have been used for some of the more traditional folklore types in not only in Europe but also in parts beyond. They have been used as something that wise women might put in their garden to protect it from being ravaged by unruly animals, or seen as a offering of submission to nature deities.
These are protection figures. These aren't just, ornaments. This is like somebody who knows something about this kind of thing's put them there to protect their garden from foxes and that. Or
Well,
whatever.
we already knew that the gentleman was interested in the occult.
Aye, indeed.
Are you
indeed.
saying there is something wrong that there are people that are interested in the occult or
No,
magical ways of thinking?
I'm not saying that at all. No, I just, it's just interesting. Protective. I don't know if they're just need to be careful.
Some may say that the things that I wear or do are strange or
No.
mysterious or weird or...
I suppose what I mean is, if they've got something protecting the garden, they've probably got something protecting the house.
Like a dog or...
No, well, what I mean is something a wee bit more than that. A wee bit less, I don't know, mundane? Is that the right word? Mundane?
Yes, though I do not fear gnomes made out of plants.
Just all I'm saying is be careful. When we go in, just keep your eyes peeled and keep your wits about you.
Okay, I will watch out for the gnomes, Aidan.
Aye, all right then, all right. Very funny.
So, how are the two? You guys are going to go through a window?
Yeah, I'll try and find this window that I noticed earlier on, and if I need to give Madame Davina a wee leg up into it.
You do find a window. You find the window that has the light on. You don't hear anything as you get closer to the window, except maybe a slight.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather not have a window with a light on, because if there's a light in the room, there might be somebody in the room there, but,
Okay, there are other windows as well.
If we can manage to peek into the room very, very surreptitiously and see if there's anybody in it first, then maybe we can slip in.
Sure, I suppose that's probably going to be a stealth roll.
But I'll say that. What do you reckon here? I'm not sure if we should go into a room that's got a light on in it. Maybe go into one that's dark. What do you think?
Yes, I do think that would be better as well.
Right, okay. We'll have a wee listen up though, just to see if we can hear anybody in there. I wonder, this window, does it have a good view of the garden? Like, anybody standing in the room, could they just watch us going through the garden?
Actually, fortunately for you, this window, the garden itself has more of a wrap to its edges, and so you do have a little bit of cover from that window directly.
Okay, right. So yeah, I want to sneak up and get sort of under or to the side of the window and just listen at it anyway, see if I can hear anyone.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, listen, it's 45, so that is 18.
Very good. All is well at the moment.
I don't think there's anyone in there. We could maybe risk it. Or we could just go in this next window here where there's nobody.
Like, no light might be better for sneaking, but...
Right, okay, let's do that then. I agree.
Okay. How are you planning on getting in the window then?
I guess first thing is see if it is locked, and if it is not locked, open it.
Okay. Yep. You test the window itself, and the casement does seem locked.
Do you know how to unlock this window? You said before that sometimes you would just jiggle something and loosen it up.
Depends how tightly locked it is and how secure the lock is. This one looks pretty good. I think we're going to have to...
Okay, we'll go back to the other window then.
Hold on a minute. Aye, let's go try the other window, see if it's open.
So you go back to the window that has the light on, and that one, sure enough, does appear to not have the clasp at the top locked.
Here is the thought. We listened, but perhaps we could do a little tap on the window and then get really close to wall so no one sees us, and then just see if anyone hears and comes to window.
Right, okay. Well, let's do that. Let's go and have a look at this other window with the light on. See if we can get in.
The window itself appears to be a little bit more well used than some of the others. So maybe this was a window that if there's a staff member here, maybe they open it for fresh air or something like that.
Right. Do you need a boost in, or shall I go first?
Well, I went first last time, so it would only be polite for me to let you go first this time, Aidan.
Alrighty then, here we go. And I will, as quietly as I can, open this window just enough to squeeze in.
Yeah.
And then when I'm in, I'll help Madame Davina in and through.
Okay. It's not terribly hard. You lose a couple of minutes just trying to be quiet about things, but you do manage to get into this staff area. It looks like this is a place where maybe somebody at one point had done some record keeping. It looks like there's a small burner stove in one section of it for perhaps a teapot, just to put the kettle on and warm themselves up. But the one thing that you notice, just with the light here, this little office, if that's what it is, has not been used in months. Dust all over the place. There's papers on the floor. Like at one point there were inboxes and outboxes. This looks like perhaps a head butler's room or something like that, or some sort of butler's room who would keep, or a housekeeper that would keep records or something like that, because it's been demolished.
But the light's on in it.
Yeah, the overhead light that's here is just a
bare bulb, is it?
Yeah, it's just a bare bulb. It's not more than that.
I'm going to have a good search through this room while I'm here.
Certainly.
Aidan, perhaps we only didn't see the light earlier because it was daylight out. It doesn't appear like this place has been... No one's been here in quite some time.
Oh, you're right, it doesn't. I'm going to have to be careful.
Do we see any... I know you said there's like kind of a thick layer of dust all over. Do we see any footprints? Like, does the floor look clean? Does it look like anyone's walked through here at all?
There are some prints here on the floor. It looks like maybe they're from a dog. At least it looks like it. Maybe scrambled around a little bit. There's also a smell of... there's a watery smell in the air. It's a bit musky in here.
This place doesn't smell lived in at all. I take it I don't find anything as I'm sort of searching through. I'm trying not to disturb the dust if I can avoid it. But
the stuff that you do find is from years ago. Okay. And you're looking at papers that are dated from 1915, 1918.
And what are the names on them? Is there household records with the names of the house owners?
It's certainly not Fitzgeorge, that's for sure. So the name seems to be Bourree, so it's Bouree. But yeah, you don't see a single thing in here labeled with Fitzgeorge at all.
This is not right at all. This is not right at all. This here. This house belongs to somebody called Bourree. Well, 10 years ago belonged to somebody called Bourree. There's nothing more recent than that here at all.
Well, perhaps that was his family's name, or like his mother's.
That's not an Italian name. Come on, let's keep moving.
You guys move out of this room and you enter a larger portion of the kitchen. So this is actually a fairly small kitchen, all things told. The house itself is pretty large, but the kitchen is not what you would think as a grand kitchen by any means.
So if there's no lights on, I'm gonna have I'll have a flashlight, but I'll have it shaded so that there's only a little bit of light coming out of it. So,
certainly.
So if there are windows that are not shuttered or curtained, you can't see lights moving about inside the rooms from outside.
Yeah, certainly. The limited light does give you a couple of interesting things to chew on for your brain. The dog's footprints move back and forth throughout this room quite a bit.
Sorry, I completely missed that you said there was dog's footprints.
Yeah, in the dust. Madame Davina saw them. And the prints do seem to track all over the place, and there looks like there might be more than one dog here. Different sizes.
Can I make a natural world roll to see if I can identify what breed of dog this might be?
Yeah, certainly.
That's a 28 under 40.
You know, when you get down into the dust and in some of this, I don't want to say dirt, but that's essentially what it is. It's not potting dirt by any means, but there's dirt and film here on the kitchen floor. You're not certain that this is a dog's footprint at all. It's a little wide to be a dog's footprint. And you see the irregularities between the two sets, and maybe one was just smaller than the other, but that footprint there, the one you're standing in front of, it's way too wide to be a dog's footprint.
Here, that's a dog there. I don't know if that's a guard dog or what it is, but this here's not a dog's footprint at all. That's not a dog's paw print. I don't know what that is. It's some kind of big animal anyway.
Perhaps it is this guardian protector house.
Aye, maybe it is. I'm gonna put my hand on my pistol, make sure it's there.
Continue on then.
Yes. So, is there any dust lying at all where these paw prints are? Like, are they, do they look very, very recent, or do they look like they were a while back, but not as long ago as everything else has been left?
Probably a couple of weeks versus...
Okay, so it's maybe a tiny, tiny little bit of dust or something like that.
Getting into the first floor of the house, one of the things that you recognize straight away is that the larger portion of the house, as you exit the staff kitchen areas into, we'll say, the dining area, is that it is kept very much like the rest of the rooms you've seen so far. Table here has seen much better days. The 10-seat dining room table, the chairs are in terribly bad disrepair. It looks like a couple of them have been broken. There are several deep gashes in the table. It looked like somebody's taken a knife maybe and cut into the table. Pretty jagged, sharp cut.
Do they form any kind of pattern, or is it just like...
A couple of them seem to trace along some of the same lines. It's hard to say if it's an exact pattern per se, but there are some swirls near where the head of the table is. Like someone took a couple of knives and just ran them around. Or maybe there was a big dog in here and it scratched the table with its front paws.
Well, nobody's been in here for a while, eh?
No, it makes it even stranger that the light was left on. It's like no one is even living here. And if you had this much money, wouldn't you leave behind to keep up the house while you were gone?
I think so, yeah, aye. But I could have sworn that light... I had a look during daylight. I could have sworn that light wasn't on. Why would you turn a light on in a room that doesn't get used?
Well, it is also strange we only saw dog prints and we have not seen any shoe prints.
Aye, that's a point at all. The dog's turning lights on and off in the house.
Well, you said not a dog, though.
I was just wondering what it is now.
You hear the creak of floorboards from upstairs.
You fancy finding out?
Well, I was thinking that maybe it is time for us to get out of here now, Aidan, but...
We found nothing out yet.
Well, the point of breaking and entering is not to get caught.
We don't even know if there's a cellar here. We won't get caught. We'll be fine.
Okay, but you are going first.
There's no point coming in here if we're not going to find anything out about the place.
I will be following 5 feet behind.
It's all right. I'm armed, so don't you worry. We'll be fine.
You'll break into a man's home and shoot his help?
Well, it's not going to come to that.
You exit out of the dining room, and as you do so, you get into an entrance space or a larger hallway here. And you can see that at one side of it, there's a long staircase that goes up. And a bit beyond that, you see that the front door, or what you assume, Madame Davina, is the front door, because there's 2 large doors, probably likely the ones that you'd seen from the other side.
Is there all dust on the floor and stuff around here as well?
Oh, indeed. And similar footprints track through this area towards the stairway.
Could we, quite often in large houses, there would be a separate servants' stairway around the back so that servants can move up and down between the floors without getting in the way of the gentry. Have we seen anything that looks like that?
Not as of yet. But if it is going to be around here, you mentally look right, and it would be further down this area.
Right. Do you want to go up the main staircase here, or are we a bit exposed up there, or do you want to see if we can find a wee servant staircase?
I believe the back way would be best.
Okay, so we'll sort of sneak along the, trying to keep quiet, going along through the corridor, listening out for any more noises upstairs.
Okay. You continue on through the first floor to the ground floor to the right. And as you continue pathing that way, you come upon a large room, likely for a sitting room, in effect. Couches. You see that there's a fireplace there at the back that, of course, is old and cold. It looks like there are were a few bookshelves in use here, but they've all been smashed and ripped down. This is really the first time in the house you're seeing, beyond some of the scratches on the table, you're seeing actual destructive work. Like some of the furniture here has been ripped apart. Some of these fine couches and chairs have had their fabrics shredded on the back.
Does it look like it's been shredded by animals? Is it like kind of, your classic 3 or 4 claw marks going parallel?
Certainly does. The trouble you're having is that you don't know of any beasts in Paris that do that. There's nothing here that's big enough, really, to do that. I mean, maybe a really playful dog, but it has to be a big dog.
Aidan, do you think that perhaps when they left the house, they left the dogs here, and the dogs have just been tearing the place up, or that something happened to the keeper and they left one night and never came back?
The dogs would be long dead by now. If they've been left locked up in a house with nothing to eat.
Well, that's why I thought maybe there was a keeper that was looking after them, but something happened to them, and it has been some time. Perhaps they died in the house and the dogs have been eating them. I don't know. It's possible.
Aye, maybe.
That
well, in
happens.
that case, I think we have to go and see. Have to go and find out if there's a dead body here. Do we see a back staircase?
You do. Are you gonna go up the back staircase then?
Oh, I think so.
Wonderful.
Well, I am anyway. I don't know if Madam Davina's got other ideas.
No, I will follow.
So this back staircase has a couple of things straight away as you begin to enter it, because the door to it is open. There are these deep gouges along the entrance to it. The wood that makes up that side of the staircase door is just shredded at, say, the 2.5 to maybe 3 foot height level. It's cut up, and it looks like someone's taken a buzzsaw to several pieces of it. And you see the same sort of 3 or 4 claw mark scratches on the interior side, right? It looks like somebody's cat or dog went crazy trying to get out.
Is there still dust and that up here?
A lot less, actually. In fact, the dust level in the staircase is probably the most minimal you've seen. There's another creak from upstairs.
Here we go.
Continue upwards.
Yeah, very cautiously and quietly.
All right, listen rolls, please.
21 under 40.
14 under 20.
So you both definitely hear the footfalls of something moving upstairs. It's not simply a creak this time. It's a creak with a little bit extra on the back side of it. There's this 3, 4, 5, 6 footsteps that move away. You're not sure if it's the next floor or if it's maybe a floor above. There's a little weight to them.
So that was actually a hard success. It was 21 under 45.
That's very well. So for the hard success, you'd know that it is being created by more than one being.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. And also, can I tell? Is it possible to tell? Would I need an extreme success to tell whether it was 2-legged or 4-legged?
Oh, for sure. You definitely would need an extreme success or something like that. As long as you don't stop, you get to the second floor.
Okay, so I'm going to look into a room in the second floor cautiously. Now, did you say, so when you're saying second floor, you're saying the floor above ground level, yeah?
Yes, sir.
One
Yes,
level up, yeah.
You call it first floor, I know.
Yeah. It's just so that I know you're referring to it in your way, not my way. So I think you said that there was a light on this level when we were outside. We saw a light glinting through the cracks in the.
That'd be the next floor up.
The next one up. Okay. Okay. Cool. Sneak peek into one or two rooms here before moving up.
Yeah, these are mostly bedrooms. You do see through the dim torchlight here. You do see the very similar tracks, footprints as you've seen through the house, which are animal, which, as far as you can tell. The bedrooms here have equally been disrupted. Looks like at one point that the house was lived in, likely well loved at one point, but something has happened to it.
We haven't come across any rooms that look like they might be a study or something like that, have we?
No, not yet. Not yet. There's definitely an additional smell on this floor. There's a almost brackish, dirty water smell.
You smell that?
Yes, I wonder if something happened with the plumbing. Perhaps something burst or...
That's salt water, that.
Strange.
Aye, that
This
does.
place smell like salt water.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, I could understand it if it was damp and mouldy or rotten wood and that, but salt water?
Strange. Perhaps we could find where the noise was coming from.
Aye. I'd like to see there's another light on one of the rooms upstairs. I'll see if I can see that.
Yes, let's continue upstairs then to that room.
You continue up the stairways in the back, using the servants' method of transportation around the house. That there are pathways to get you where you need to go. The second floor, I should say, is a little different than the previous one. It appears that several of the rooms here have been removed. This does not seem unnatural. It actually seems natural. So it's much more of an open spot. It looks like at one point here there may have been a grand library planned. You can tell just by the way the walls and the supporting beams of the house are made up. It's likely at one point the original owner had something quite grand, quite beautiful planned for here, but the construction never completed.
So the walls have been removed around this
It looks like what they probably did was they removed a bedroom and then have made a space of what would have been two bedrooms into some sort of grand study or grand library or something like that. But it looks like only part of it has been planned out or part of it has been enacted. But here too, you see that there have been some objects moved into place. Your torchlight begins to move over several of the same sort of style of statuary pieces that you saw out in the garden.
Aye. Something's going on here.
And as the paler or diffused torchlight passes over this area, you see large darkened spots here in the wood. Spoiled spots you've seen on hardwood floors before, Aidan.
Is it blood?
It absolutely is.
Something's happened here.
What do you mean?
See these dark stains on the wood here. That's not paint. That's I don't know whether it's animal blood or human blood, but it's blood.
Aidan, I'm starting to think we shouldn't be here.
Aye, maybe you're right. But there's something here.
Spot hidden rolls from both of you.
Could I see where the light is coming from? Because I think it's somewhere on this floor, isn't it?
It is somewhere on the floor. You think it's perhaps further down the hallway.
Okay. That's when I roll a 98.
It's a 19 under 25 for me.
All right. So for...
it's not a fumble for me, though, because I've got a 50 in spot hidden. So.
You do. Would you like to push that roll at all?
Oh, actually, do you know what? I think I might. Bearing in mind there's obviously something horribly monstrous here. I've seen this little glint of light a little bit ahead.
Yeah.
And having kind of crouched down a little bit to see what's on the floor, I'm just kind of going to motion to Madame Davina just to hold still for a moment, and I'm going to move up. I'm turn my torch off and move up a little bit closer to where this light is, just to see if I can see or hear anything else.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, that's a 74, which is a failure.
Very good. So we'll deal with that failure here shortly. Madam Davina, the change in perspective, the change in light as Aidan tries to get a better view of the situation is telling for you. It's telling because what you begin to pick out is movement, and it's not movement you wanted to see in any way, shape, or form. And you see very clearly, at least you think you see, at this far statue piece, this little fat, ugly gnome's eyes move and focus on you. And you see the briefest of twitch from its stubby, sharp fingers.
Aidan, the gnomes. The gnomes are moving. Aidan, it's the gnomes.
I will whirl round to see what it is.
So you see this little ugly thing, seemingly made out of stone, pretending, of course, to be a jolly little gnome with a pointed red hat and funny pointed ears. But clearly, it is not neither jolly nor funny. It has hideous eyes and pointed teeth, and all along its naked form is etched deep, dark tattoo lines across its stone-colored skin. And it is very much interested in reaching out and plucking your eyes out with its claws.
Oh, splendid. I suppose you'd be wanting a sanity roll.
I would, from both of you. I always want a sanity roll.
Okay. So Aidan has seen a few things during his previous time in France, which has left him a little shaken and possibly a tad fragile, we say.
I got a 31 under 68.
Okay. You don't take any sanity loss?
I got an 85 over 37.
So, I'll only take 1 point of sanity from you.
Woohoo.
It snaps like a twig in your brain, Aidan. This is a goatwood gnome.
Shit!
These little nasty creatures are used to protect houses and sometimes protect circles of magic and other fey and natural occurring mystical creatures. They're also known to seek revenge on those who trespass in their garden. And so, if I may, I would like to have both of your dexterities, please.
My dexterity is 35.
Mine is 55.
Oh, all right. So, Madam Davina, you will go first. You are beset upon by death itself in the form of multiple stone goatwood gnomes who are very interested in seizing their clawed-like fingers into all manner of flesh and blood.
Yeah. Is there a bludgeoning object near me?
I'll tell you what, give me a luck roll and we'll see what you can find.
Okay. A 25 under 60.
Oh yeah, look, there's this piece of statuary here.
Okay.
It's a bust. It's a bust of some French woman. And clearly you can avail yourself of it and use it as a bludgeoning item.
Yeah, I will try to bludgeon whichever one is closest to me then.
So far, there are 3 of them that you've seen. One is behind Aidan, one is in front of you near, and one is in front of you far.
Yeah, in front of me near. Aidan can handle the one that's near him.
All right, very well then. So picking up the item is fairly easy to do, and then you just need to make a fighting brawl roll. Unless you have a fighting statuary or bust roll.
Oh, I rolled an 8 under 25.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. And so I'm going to ask you to roll damage. I'm going to consider this statuary piece a D8, but then after you're done rolling it, depending upon the damage that you do, we'll determine how much of the statue is left.
Okay. 3.
Any damage bonus from Adam Davina?
No.
It does stay intact.
Hey.
So you can use it again. Aidan, this funny little gnome is going to make an attempt to make mincemeat out of your hamstrings.
Aye, well, that's smashing. I'm going to try and fight back against it.
Yeah, go for it.
That is a failure on my part.
And a failure on his part as well. So he tries to get close to you, and you end up sidestepping him a little, and you can feel the pounding of the stone on the grounds here as his body moves back and forth. They seem to be quite heavy. And then it is the one fighting Madame Davina. And so he didn't attempt to bite you. He wants to taste your human flesh.
That's fair enough.
You're exotic as far as he's concerned. All right, so that is a success. Would you care to dodge or fight?
I would like to fight back.
Yeah.
I already got him once. Maybe I can get him again. I rolled a 9 under 25. At 25 this time.
Well, you've surely beaten his roll, so go ahead and roll damage.
5.
Okay, so you hit him squarely in the face as he's trying to... He comes up and opens his mouth up with all these tiny little dagger-like teeth and hisses at you like he's going to chomp into your face, and you bonk him on the head with this enormous statuary piece. And at that point, when you hit him, his nose breaks, and you see like a gout of pink and red fluid or organ come out of his nose, and it makes this like sound like air is coming out of it, and it kind of spatters blood all over you and all over the surrounding area.
Gross.
The one at the far end of the room is going to move, and he is going to flank Aidan as Aidan is busy dancing with this first gnome. The other gnome is going to add itself to the party. And so, dodge or fight back, sir?
Fight back.
Very well.
Oh, that's another failure.
Yeah, same here. So you're now dancing with multiple gnomes.
How many in total of them do there seem to be? I mean, it's a bit of a whirlwind at the minute. But...
Yeah, there are 3, but your torchlight has revealed that there are 6 pedestals in this room, 3 of which are missing.
Right, okay.
And it's now your turn.
Alrighty then. So I have got a small kind of a kosh that I carry with me. It's not like a full size one. It's just like a small, it's effectively like a billiard ball in a sock kind of thing. So that's what I use for situations such as this where I might get into trouble with a miscreant. I'm just going to pull that out of my pocket and swing it. Just swing it at the one that's attacked me in the first place. That is a normal success.
Okay.
51 under 60.
Go ahead and roll damage.
That's a total of 3 points of damage.
Okay, so you wind up and you hammer this thing, give it a good whack with this stick. You can feel the reverberation up your arm when you connect with it. Whatever this little gnome is made out of, which appears to be stone, it's definitely a sturdy thing. But yeah, you definitely hit. Madame Davina, what more destruction would you like to do with the statuary piece?
Well, this one whose nose I seem to have broken off, I would like to hit him again if at all possible.
Certainly, it is your action, so.
I can try. Ooh, not this time. 49 over 25.
Okay. He dances out of the way. You can see that this pink and red fluid is beginning to coat his body. And you see it's getting stuck into all these little different tattoos or raised markings on his skin. And it's starting to glow. That will be your gnome. Your first gnome. Aidan, is going to continue to attempt to assail you. Oh. So, dodge or fight back.
Fight back, please. No, that's a failure.
Okay. All right. Take 1.
Yeah, we shite.
Basically, it scratches you along your just below the knee, and you can feel its nails dig in, and it
Getting
begins
an idea
to,
what's been tearing up the house and running about.
And then the one that is on Madame Davina will get an opportunity, bloodied nose and all, which it promptly just does terrible on. So it bites at you again, Madame Davina, but it doesn't get anywhere close to you.
Can I fight it back?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, fight back.
That's okay. I did not pass. 79.
Okay. So you two flail at each other a little bit, and then the last gnome. No, gods, no. It's 92.
Okay, and because I've got 2 gnomes on me, the second attack after I've had a reaction always gets a bonus die.
Certainly. I'm
So
happy to
this
roll a bonus die against you. Anyways, it did not improve their roll, though.
I will be fighting back against it anyway. So.
Yeah.
That is a success. A 48 under 60.
Give it a good whack, then. Running around a Parisian manor, bonking gnomes.
Bonking has a different meaning in the United Kingdom.
Oh, well. Luckily, the game was taking place on
Same.
the internet.
That's 6 points of damage that time.
Ooh, you get a bit of blood. Yep, you get a bit of blood from him. Crack him right on the right between the eyes, and you can see the blood splatter and this almost phosphorescent pink that begins to come out of him.
Hey, how'd you like them apples?
Speaking of, Aidan, it is now your action.
I think I'll just try and whack this same fella that I've already hit. Yeah, I've got him on the back foot. That is a 0-1.
Ooh, it's not a bladed weapon, so it can't impale.
It is not, no.
But here's what I'll do for you, sir. Go ahead and roll damage, and for this hit, because it's a 0-1, I am going to ignore their damage reduction.
So normally, critical success, I would just do maximum damage.
Yeah, that's fine. Just give me maximum damage.
Okay, that's 10 points of damage then.
All right. You crush its skull.
And I'll turn to the other one and said, Hey, you're next. Just point at him.
Yeah, you come down on its head and you can hear the stone crack. And when it cracks, it feels like stone giving way underneath the weapon. It's not like bone. It's denser than that, but it cracks all the same. And as they open up, this massive pink glow takes over the room now, as there's blood and pink and organs begin spilling out of this little statue.
But all the windows here are boarded up, are they?
Yep.
On the inside, does it just look like boards, yeah?
Yeah, just looks like boards on the inside.
Okay. How you doing over there, Madame Davina?
I think I am holding my own here, Aidan.
Good stuff. Good on you.
So, speaking of Madame Davina, it is now your action on 55.
Yes, I will be bludgeoning again. 82 over 25.
Okay.
So.
You're getting an awful lot of perspiration on your hands with this statue piece now. It's starting to get a little slick, and so you're having a hard time keeping a hold of it. Gnome that is attacking you reacts a bit to seeing one of its compatriots, I guess, fall, and it backs off a little bit, and it puts its hands to the big cap over its head, and it yanks it off. And when it does, see that their heads come to a very sharpened point, and it begins glowing, and you can hear all this strange language that starts to spill from its lips.
Does that sound like anything that I've heard about these things, about what they do, what this is, and what it does?
Yeah,
Very weird.
I'd give you an occult roll, a hard occult roll for it.
A hard occult roll. Okay, that's gonna be a tricky one, but I should give it a shot. No, that's a failure.
You're not sure, but you don't like the look of it.
No, I do not like the look of it. I'm going to try and stop it from doing that if I can.
Okay. Yeah, the other one that is still left over that was fighting with Aidan is going to continue to try to eat him as he's wont to do. So that will be either fighting, brawl, or dodge. Up to you.
I will fight back against it. I rolled a 62, which is a failure.
Okay. It manages to get its mouth around your kneecap and is going to take a nice healthy bite out of it if it can. Yeah, that's 3 points damage. And you can hear it snarling on the end of his knee. Just lovingly, chewing at the flesh therein.
Get off me, you beast.
And so now it's Aidan's turn now.
Okay, I'm just going to whack it on the head with my little truncheon. Yes. So the one that's biting my knee is his head is not glowing. Is that correct? Or is he the head with the glowing head one?
No, not. He is the one that does not have the glowing head.
Okay. No, that's a failure.
Okay. Yeah, you hit, and it's not that you don't strike the body. You do. It's just that it feels like you're striking marble with the weapon.
Is he fighting back against me?
I suppose he ought to. Yeah, that's a 43, which is under his roll of 50, and so he's going to bite even harder, and he'll do another 3 points damage to you. Madam Davina, the gnome, which is opposite you, that has backed up and taken its hat off, it looks like it is... You're not sure what it's doing, but its eyes have rolled in the back of its head, and you see its little claw-tipped fingers seeming to dance through the air.
Aidan, I'm starting to think that maybe we should just get out of here.
I think you might be right. I don't like the look of what that little knee biter's doing.
Yeah, Madam Davina would like to run away.
So you're going to head back down the stairway?
Yes, having gotten semi-confirmation that Aidan's thinking the same way, because I don't like the look of what that thing is doing, I want to get out of there, so I want to make for the door.
Okay. Yeah, you make for the stair. I mean, the door that goes to the stairway is not terribly far. It's probably within a combat round or so movement.
Okay.
But you can get to the top of the stairs.
This is what I would like to do.
All right. So it'll go. The one on Aidan will go, and it will continue to. Now that it has a good bite on your leg, it's going to try to claw into your stomach.
Okay, I'm going to try and fight back against
All
that.
Right, go for it.
No, failure.
Same. So it tries to get its way into your guts, and all it does is shred your clothes, but it doesn't seem to get to you.
Off me, will you?
Right.
Are there two others? One of them's got a glowy head? Or?
Yeah, the one the glowy head is further back in the area, and now I'm going to roll percentile die to see if it can pull off what it wants to pull off. It's a very low percentage chance, but we'll try it. It's not your turn.
Yeah, I was just going to try and get this wretched thing off my knee.
Yeah.
0-8. That is a extreme success.
All right.
It's going to need a critical if it's trying to fight back against me.
It's going to try to fight back. It fails, but yeah, go ahead and roll damage.
Right. So extreme success is maximum damage.
Yep.
10 points of damage.
Yeah, you crush its head. Your knee and lower leg is covered in blood and filled with pain, but luckily the adrenaline supersedes all of that.
Okay. There's one with the glowy head and another one running about, is that right?
No, it's just the one with the glowing head left.
Oh, right, okay. I'm kind of torn between running down the stairs away from it, and I don't know what it's trying to do with its glowy head. And I am going to run towards it and try and stop it from doing whatever it's trying to do.
Okay. You run towards it.
So I don't know if it's going to get to do something before I try.
Right now, because it's in the midst of casting a spell, it can't.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to hit it as hard as I can.
Okay. Yeah, it won't be able to dodge, so go ahead.
Come on. 0-2.
Okay, so it's maximum damage. It's 10 points damage.
10 points of damage, yeah.
That one has not been wounded as of yet.
Okay.
So it is going to get at least another attempt to finish its spell.
Okay, so that doesn't disrupt its spell or anything like
It
that.
does not.
Okay.
It does not finish it.
Okay. And I'm going to hit it again.
Yeah, go ahead. And you can hear it now. The words here. They're not any language that you know. They curl, the consonants and vowels curl around your ears. And you can feel almost a strange dissonant vibration that comes out of its mouth as it continues to cast in front of you.
Yeah. Keep whatever it is you're trying to do, you ain't doing it. That's a total of 3 points of damage.
So this nasty, dark-skinned creature falls, collapses into the floor. You can tell just by the way it collapses, Aidan, the body weight of these creatures must be fairly considerable because it lands with a pretty heavy thud. Whatever it was trying to do either didn't work or, I mean, its head is still glowing, but you're not quite sure what was going on in here.
So I think Aidan is just going to kind of collapse onto the floor, panting. Kick it with his foot, maybe as well. Just make sure it's actually no longer living, if it ever was actually alive, and try to ensure that it's not a danger as well, and just kind of look around him in stunned disbelief at what's just happened.
You can see that the body of the creature, even though it's fairly dark in here, the glow from its skull gives off the skin of the creature seems to be almost tattooed with these etchings, these markings deep into the skin. It doesn't really wear clothes either. There seem to be some sort of furred loincloth that covers its lower portion. And it has, as you have found out earlier, a pretty nasty row of jagged teeth.
I'm assuming Madame Davina would have heard kind of like a dying down of the fight. So she would probably turn back to check on Aidan. Aidan, are you okay?
No. These things bit me, and you can see there's welt marks where he's bleeding quite badly.
I've never seen anything like this before.
These things shouldn't even. They're not supposed to exist. They're not. They're just, tales you tell the wee ones.
I must admit, I ran in fear. I was quite scared that one of us was possibly going to die.
I should have run as well. I should never have stayed. You made the smart move there, Madame Davina. I don't know what I was thinking.
Well, you are a brave man, Aidan.
I'm stupid, man.
Sometimes those are one and the same.
I've seen a lot of bravery out in the trenches, but Anyway, that's another thing.
Yes, there must be something else going on here. Perhaps we should continue to that light at the further down the hallway.
That's why I stayed. There must be something in here. These things, I don't think they like the light. I think they're like nocturnal,
Well, in that case, we should probably start turning on lights when we go into rooms.
If there's power here, there must be power. There's light. Right. Well, let's take a look down here and see what's in here. I think I'm beginning to think if there was anything, either it's hiding or it's empty, down there, because we made enough noise here. Just let me bind myself up a wee bit here before we go. So I'd like to tear off a strip of my shirt tails or something, try and bind it around one of these bites.
Bites on your arm and probably leg are probably the worst of the wounds that you've taken. Nasty little creatures have done their work.
Yeah, so Aidan knows what he's about when he's applying first aid and bandages. So, if I may, I'll roll a first aid to see.
Go right ahead. And during this time, Madame Davina, you probably would notice that these gnomes, I guess, the glowing has ceased, and they look now as statuesque as they did before. They're in different states physically and different positions, but they look like they're just another couple of statues.
It would seem that the life has left these creatures as well.
I hope so.
Not that I wouldn't feel better if we had a sledgehammer or something to destroy them further, but...
So I have a first aid of 55, and I rolled a 09.
Oh, fantastic. So that's an extreme? Yeah.
It is,
yeah. All right, so I will give you a D3 plus 1 for your extreme.
Lovely, thank you very much. That is, I rolled a 3.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, the training, adrenaline, all that stuff starts to take over, and yeah, you get yourself bound up.
Well, that'll patch me up for the time being anyway. Hope I haven't got infected with something.
Well, the faster we get through here, the quicker we can possibly get you some real medical attention.
Aye, I could probably do with that, although how I'm going to explain these bites, I don't know. I suppose I'll have to say a dog bit me or something.
Possibly just that you had a rough night out.
Aye, a very boisterous companion, huh? Could I take a quick look at the engravings or tattoos or whatever it is on the body of this thing?
Absolutely. Yeah, so it looks a fair like someone chiseled the workings into the statue piece. So they're very tribal. You would probably even equate them to something maybe even Pictish from some of the markings.
Celtic knots, that sort of thing. Yeah. Could I make an occult roll, maybe, to have any ideas, see if it means anything at all to me?
Certainly.
So that is a fail. That's a 70 over my occult of 25.
Yeah. I mean, other than the stuff that you already kind of surmised earlier about them being goatswood gnomes, or something to the effect of nasty little creatures that you tell children about at night to get them to stay in their beds. Not much else.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a regular thing for these things to have, but anyway, we don't have time to spend here now, do we? Come on, let's get a move on.
I would like to get out of here as quickly as possible.
Right. You want to come with me down here, or just you want to stay back?
No, I believe it is best if we stay together.
Right then. So I'm going to move quietly and cautiously down the corridor.
Okay. Yeah, down these somewhat creakier floors here, you find a doorway that is cracked a little. Maybe a study, maybe a bedroom. But the light that comes out of this crack in the doorway doesn't seem like a candlelight. It doesn't seem like an electric light.
Is there any particular kind of color to it and hue to it?
Yeah, it's almost there's like the light and there's an afterglow over it. It's like the light that like frosted glass might make.
All right, so it's just kind of a whitish sort of light or something like that. So I'll hold my finger up to my lips and take a listen at the door.
Okay. Listen roll.
Oh, well, I rolled a 08, and my listen is 46. Yes, that is a 08, not an 80. Yeah.
You hear it's a lullaby. It's an old lullaby. The chimes of it. Just the slightest tune. Maybe there's a music box or something like that in there. Why it would be playing now is unknown, but you can hear these soft tones just very faintly.
It's not a voice or anything like that. It's sounds like some sort of instrument. Yeah.
It seems instrumental.
Do you hear that?
Yes, perhaps it's some sort of music box or...
Do you know, I'm not even going to ask any questions now. I'm just going to see what happens. We'll take a peek through the door, I guess.
Okay. You open up the door and reveal a study. Shelves in the room are pretty thinned out. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of work that's been done in here recently. There's a good, reasonably good chair, a writing desk. And on top of that desk, there's a box. The box is, say, about the size of a fiddle, an instrument case. Although it is not like an instrument case, it's about that size. It's open, and inside of it, there is this crafted piece of metal. It's probably about half the size of, say, a fire poker stick. And then on the end of it, on one end of it, there is a beautifully wrought shape. It's the best thing that your mind can do to it. It's as if someone made an artisan piece. You're seeing it from across the room, so it doesn't really have form yet. It's got some strange angles.
Nobody about in the room, though, no?
No, the room's empty.
No statues of gnomes or anything like that?
No gnomes.
Where's the light coming from?
The piece of metal.
What is that?
I don't believe I've ever seen anything like that before.
What do you think? Should we leave it? Should we take it?
I don't know if we should touch it, but we could certainly get closer and do a visual examination first, or...
Oh, yeah. It's got a case there, so we can maybe close it over.
Yes, that sounds like a good idea. I don't know if we should touch it.
Yeah, I tend to agree. So I guess we'll cautiously move into the room. I'm being super observant to make sure no bits of furniture come alive and start attacking me.
So this reminds you a whole lot of wrought iron as you get closer to it. It looks like someone has beat this into a shape with hammer and somewhere a blacksmith has probably made it, or perhaps a forge has. For a moment, it reminds you of some of the stairway railings that you've seen around town. But the craftsmanship is something truly fantastic. It doesn't look like a railing that you would utilize. It looks like someone took a piece of that railing and then bent it into some other type of shape. And so as you get closer and on top of it, you can see that there are two portions of it that roll off at direct left and right angles, right? And there's an inner portion, and then the inner portion that connects those two right angles, it has wouldn't say a spike per se, but there's a portion that juts out.
This must be what they call that modern art stuff.
Yes, but have you ever seen a piece of metal to glow?
No, I don't know what that is. I mean, is it a weapon? Is it where's the music coming from?
So getting into the room and getting closer to it, the music itself in your ears dies off. You get closer to it.
Do you have music stopped?
I no longer hear it as well.
Did we just imagine it?
It had to have come from somewhere. It would be hard for both of us to imagine music at the same time.
I don't like this at all. I don't like it at all. Could I maybe discern what this is as I kind of walk around and try and look at it from different angles through some sort of roll of some kind?
Yeah, absolutely. You can make me a locksmithing roll.
Locksmithing roll, okay. That is a 96 over 30, which is a fumble.
Okay.
It looks like is it a musical instrument or I guess maybe I'll kind of tentatively reach over to touch the case or try and get a closer look at it.
Just touching the case, you get a little bit better of an idea of the weight of the object. It's very light. It doesn't at all prescribe to wrought iron. Wrought iron should be pretty heavy, even in this small of a piece.
So I guess as I fumbled that, I think probably what happens is Aidan does have a little bit of habit of tripping over his own feet sometimes, and I think during all the shenanigans outside, one of his laces has come undone, and as he moves over to take a closer look, He stands accidentally on this lace with his other foot, loses his balance and goes falling forward. And he's a big guy. He's like six, at least 6'4" tall, and he's broad as well.
Okay, yeah, you spill forward a little bit and bump into the table that holds this piece. And Madame Davina, you see the case and the piece basically fall off the table and onto the floor. Now the piece stays within the case, but when it hits, right, you get this tone that comes out like someone beat the keys of a piano.
Aidan, I thought we weren't going to touch it.
Oh, I didn't mean to. My lace has come undone. I don't. Is it broken?
I don't think that it's broken, but did you hear that sound that resonated from it? Take a moment to tie your shoe, man.
It's like a big tuning fork or something, is it?
That is possible, but it sounded like multiple tones at once. I've never heard that one tuning fork play multiple tone.
What do you think? You think should we grab this thing up in its case and take it somewhere a bit safer so we can try and figure out what it is?
Oh, it definitely seems important, and I definitely do not like it here. So, yes, I think that would be a good idea to try.
Maybe we can find somebody who can tell what on earth it does or what it's for or how it works. Or he'll tie up his shoelace, and which will probably come undone in about 10 minutes, and then see if he can scoop up the thing back into its case and close the case over.
Yeah, I guess you're going to have to reposition it in the box to get the box to close.
Is it in a kind of like a sort of velvet lined case that's shaped to specifically sort of fit it into a little slots or something?
Yes, it is.
Felt lined or something. Okay, so I'll so I think bearing in mind the warning from Madame Davina, he'll take his gloves out, put his gloves in, and try and place this thing back in its correct place in the case before closing over the case and closing the hasps or the clasps on it if there are some.
So when you reposition it, you're going to do so even with gloves on.
With gloves on, yeah. I don't want to touch it with my bare hands, just because,
Yeah, no, I get it. When you touch it and reposition it, you feel like a harmonic vibration through your fingertips.
Oh, what is that? I never felt anything like that before in my life. I don't know that I like that at all. And I kind of hurriedly place it best I can in position and close the lid of the box.
Yeah, once you close the lid of the box, the light, of course, dims in the room, and there's no more humming or somewhat musical tones.
Aidan, I unfortunately just had an idea.
Oh dear, I don't like the sound of that.
Perhaps I should touch the item.
Are you serious? I mean, I was wearing gloves and it felt pretty strange to me. You think you might be able to get some sort of reading off it?
Yes, I believe possibly I can, and then that may be the quickest way to figure out how this ties into, I don't know, maybe those gnome things down there or anything else.
I mean, do you think it's safe to do it here?
Well, I guess better now than never.
All right, well, if you're sure, but I think it's a risky move. And I'll open up the case again. I'll be standing by right here, just in case you need anything.
All right. I want to touch it and try and get a reading off of it.
Yes. You reach out. I assume you're going to utilize some special ability psychometry, is it? Or
yes. I can make a roll for that.
You should.
And I will... Ooh, 24 under 60, so that's a hard success.
Fantastic. So you are immediately mentally whooshed to a different place. You hear the slow, repetitive hammers of a forge. The temperature outside, suddenly you get a read on as something more balmy, I guess. It doesn't feel like France to you. The image in your mind is a somewhat squat stone hut. And you see a young man working a hammer and tongs over a piece of crafted metal. You see an older woman who's standing outside the hut. She's dressed very simply in just a shawl and a dark black dress. Does not look English or French at all. Tanned skin. And you hear her humming a tune that matches up with the noise that you heard outside the room. She continues to hum this tune as this young boy shapes this metal piece over and over. And when it's finally done, he quenches it in a nearby basin, oil and water. And he draws it out, and you see him take the piece and go over to another portion of the forge. And as he does so, he inserts this piece into what looks like a holder of sorts. Almost like he's taking a key and putting it into the face of a lock. And you wake back into France.
This is so strange, Aidan. This would seem like it is a key of some sort, and I can't really place where it was created, but it seems like it has a memory. That song that we heard was being sung, or I could hear it coming from a woman when it was being when this was being forged. This thing remembers.
Are you all right? You're white as a sheet.
Yes, sorry, that does take quite a bit out of me.
So you could see it being made, did you say?
Yes, but I can't place where. It's somewhere foreign.
All right, well,
not recent.
could you describe it maybe? Were there mountains or fields or was it cold? What kind of trees was it outside?
And I'll describe to Aidan anything that I saw, though I imagine my vision isn't... I don't have like a depth of vision when I see these things.
Nor do you necessarily have eidetic memory. You just have, as best as you can describe this. It feels like a rural location, Aidan, that she's describing. The tools that the young man or boy was using to craft this thing seem like something you would have run into in any local smith shop. There's nothing fantastical or quote-unquote magical going around, except for, of course, that she's having a vision after touching a piece of metal, which is in and of itself a little strange. This seems like something that could have happened really anywhere. The descriptors that she uses to describe the old woman, though, they don't sound like anybody who lives around here.
When she describes it, was it like they were very poor or...
definitely. Definitely.
And you got all this just from touching the thing?
Yes, ever since I was younger, I've been able to discern things from touching objects.
Are you having me on? I mean, come on! It's me here. You know.
I do know that, Aidan, but with all of the mystical things that we have seen in recently, I find it hard to believe that you wouldn't believe me on this. I mean, we were attacked by living gnomes, and
I know that. But
there was that incident at party.
I know that, but I know what you do for a living. You know what I mean?
Well,
are you saying
yes.
that you can really do this? If you touch things, are you saying you can really, really see things that happen to the things you touch?
Well, yes, but I only use that for good.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear it.
That is only part of my profession. The other part is reassuring older, rich women of their loves and futures.
We all have talents that we can utilize to our own advantage, as they say, you know.
Yes, I am. I am mystical, but also a counselor of sorts.
I'm not saying I don't believe you. It's just, well, so that this thing's a key or something, is it?
That is what I gleaned from it. They placed it into something, and it seemed like it was a key of some sort.
What did they place it into? A door lock or something, or a chest or something?
It almost, to you, Madame Davina, it would have felt like a lock case that was against a wall. Like it wasn't connected to its final piece yet, but they were trying it out.
Yes, I can't really tell. They were trying to fit, but I don't know what it opens.
Hey, that's strange, right enough. That's very strange.
Big key.
It is a big key. I would have said it was like a musical instrument or something.
Well,
so, like,
that is from the song that it was singing to.
It's nearly 2 feet long. Anyhow, listen, I think we've stayed here long enough. We should really get out of here.
Yes, I agree.
So the two of you are going to exit stage right then?
Heck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Kate, gathering up the this device, this piece of metal into the case, and then exiting out of the house, the two of you manage to slip through one of the either exit doors or back out the window that you came in the chef's office.
I think so, yeah. Just before we leave the little office room or whatever it is, the study or whatever it is that we're in, is there anything else in here, or has it been cleaned out like the other rooms were?
It's been fairly cleaned out. There are a couple of books, but from what you're seeing, Aidan, they're mostly the children's stories, that sort of thing.
All right, so it's like a nursery or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, or maybe it was a study that was dedicated to multiple uses, right? There's no nursery
right.
specific, but
yeah, it could be like a little almost a classroom where the governess might have taught a child or something like that, possibly.
Certainly, that's probably more likely than not, especially given the writing desk.
Yeah, I think should we just go out the way we came in then? Close the window and slip out through the back garden.
Yes, it might be best still if no one knows that we're here.
Aye, right. Well, let's go then.
So the two of you exit into the Parisian night, having absconded with a case and what you believe is a key. So we will look forward to seeing the two of you in the future, whenever that future might be.